Imagine a religious movement that makes joy mandatory, where dancing and celebrating aren't just allowed, they're spiritual duties, where happiness isn't a side effect of faith, but its very core. This is Hasidism, a Jewish mystical movement from the 18th century that completely changed Judaism by putting joy, emotional connection, and even ecstasy at the heart of religious life. Centuries before positive psychology became a science, Hasidic masters were teaching truths that modern research now confirms. Joy is vital for well-being. Gratitude changes how we see the world, meaning builds resilience, and community is what holds us up. Today, we re-exploring how Hasidic wisdom foresaw the principles of positive psychology and what this ancient mysticism can teach all of us about the science of happiness. Hasidism began in 18th century Eastern Europe, founded by Rabbi Israel ben Eliezer, known as the Baal Shem Tov, the master of the good name. At the time, European Jews were facing extreme poverty, violent persecution, and a rigid religious culture that often felt cold and exclusionary, especially for those who weren't scholars. Traditional Judaism focused heavily on intense study and strict rule-following, often with a lot of emotional restraint. The Baal Shem Tov introduced something revolutionary. He taught that simple faith was more important than deep scholarship, that joy in serving God was a form of worship itself, and that every single person could connect with the divine. Singing and dancing became prayers. Finding God in the simple, everyday moments became the ultimate spiritual practice. Sadness was seen as an obstacle to this connection. This wasn't about getting rid of tradition. It was about filling it with emotion, accessibility, and most importantly, joy. Hasidism understood something profound that psychology would later prove. Your emotional state affects everything. The idea of simha shel mitzvah, or the joy of fulfilling a commandment, wasn't just about feeling good. It was the understanding that joy makes our actions more meaningful. Positive emotions open up our minds, and celebrating together builds unbreakable community bonds. The founder of modern positive psychology, Martin Seligman, would call this flourishing. The Hasidim just called it simha, join, and made it central to life. At the core of Hasidic practice is the concept of devekut, which literally means clinging or attachment to God. Psychologically, this is astonishingly similar to what the psychologist Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi later termed flow. Think about it. Devekut involves complete absorption in what you're doing, losing your sense of self, and feeling merged with something much larger than you are. Time seems to disappear, and the activity is its own reward. Sound familiar? These are the exact signs of a flow state. Hasidim achieve devekut through intense prayer, often with swaying and melodies, meditating on divine names, focusing completely on rituals, or studying with passionate engagement. The great Hasidic master Rebbe Nachman of Breslov taught his followers to always look for the good in yourself and in others. This wasn't just nice advice. It was a mental strategy to maintain this state of connection by training the mind to focus on the positive. Psychology research on flow shows it requires clear goals, immediate feedback, and a perfect balance between challenge and skill, all of which Hasidic practice provides. Studies show that when we're in a flow state, our brains release dopamine and endorphins, and the part of our brain responsible for self-criticism quiets down. Hasidic masters knew this centuries ago. True joy doesn't come from chasing pleasure, but from being completely absorbed in meaningful action. They even use wordless melodies called niganim to reach this state. These tunes bypass the thinking mind, create a shared emotional experience, and build community. Neuroscience now shows that singing together synchronizes our heartbeats, releases the bonding hormone oxytocin, and reduces stress. The Hasidim didn't need brain scans to know this, they felt it. Hasidism also took Judaism's already strong focus on gratitude and turned it into a powerful spiritual technology. And modern psychology shows just how brilliant this was. Traditional Judaism includes blessings for almost everything. Waking up, seeing a rainbow, hearing good news, even smelling a fragrant plant. The goal is to say 100 blessings a day, creating a constant awareness of the gifts around us. Hasidism deepened this with the teaching of hakarat, hatov, recognizing the good. It's not just about reciting blessings, but about truly cultivating a deep feeling of appreciation. Groundbreaking studies on gratitude by researcher Robert Emmons found that people who regularly practice gratitude are up to 25% happier, exercise more, have fewer physical complaints, and feel more connected to others. The Hasidim have been living this for 250 years. Rebbe Nachman taught a practice called hitbadut daily, personal prayer spoken in your own words, with a heavy emphasis on gratitude. Research confirms that being specific in our gratitude, not just I'm grateful, but I'm grateful for this specific thing, makes it much more powerful. This practice actually builds new neural pathways in our brain. And think about the weekly observance of Shabbat. It's a built-in system for restoration, connection, and gratitude. Psychologically, Shabbat provides a regular break from stress, meaningful rituals, and a time to focus on family and community. The modern idea of work-life balance is basically trying to reinvent what Shabbat has offered for thousands of years. Hasidism didn't arise in easy times. It grew among people facing persecution and poverty, so its focus on joy wasn't a naive feel-good idea. It was a strategy for psychological resilience. A key concept is the phrase *amzu latova*, which means this: too is for the good. It's a powerful cognitive reframing technique. The psychologist and Holocaust survivor Viktor Frankl famously wrote that the one thing that can't be taken from a person is the freedom to choose their attitude in any given situation. This is exactly what Hasidic masters taught. It's not about denying suffering. The tradition has deep teachings on grief and confronting hardship, but it adds another layer: the search for meaning, even in the darkest of times. Modern research on post-traumatic growth shows that people who find meaning in adversity recover faster and develop greater psychological strength. The key factors: a strong belief system, social support, and a way to make sense of the experience. Hasidic communities provide all of these, often through storytelling. Hasidim tell stories about their leaders, not just as history, but as tools for making meaning. This reflects what narrative psychology teaches. The stories we tell about our lives shape our mental health. There's even a paradox of joy. Hasidim might dance at a funeral not to deny the sadness of death, but to affirm the power of life alongside the loss. This emotional maturity, the ability to hold both joy and sorrow at the same time, is a sign of incredible psychological health. Perhaps the greatest psychological strength of Hasidism is its powerful emphasis on community. At the center is the Rebbe, a spiritual leader who provides guidance, personal attention, and serves as a role model. Psychologically, this provides mentorship and a secure attachment figure, which research links to better mental health and a clearer sense of purpose. Then there are the gatherings known as Farbrengens, which involve shared meals, singing, and storytelling. Social psychology confirms that these kinds of regular gatherings reduce loneliness, a major health risk, and create a powerful sense of shared identity and joy. The Harvard study of adult development, which has been running for over 80 years, found that the single strongest predictor of a long, happy life is the quality of our relationships. Hasidic life is fundamentally structured around building and maintaining these relationships. There's a culture of mutual obligation, or gemilut chesed, acts of loving kindness. Research shows that giving support is often even more beneficial for the giver than the receiver. It boosts life satisfaction and activates reward centers in the brain. Brené Brown's research tells us that belonging is a fundamental human need. Hasidic communities excel at providing this through shared beliefs, rituals, and mutual support systems. Now, this isn't to say they're perfect. The insular nature can limit outside perspectives, and community expectations can create pressure. But they undeniably provide what modern science shows we all need: meaning, connection, and belonging. So, what can we, in our modern secular lives, learn from all this? Martin Seligman's PERMA model for well-being identifies 5 key elements: positive emotion, engagement, relationships, meaning, and achievement. Hasidism offers a time-tested framework for all 5. And you don't need to be Hasidic to apply these principles. Start a daily gratitude practice. List 3 specific good things that happened. Find your flow activities, those things that absorb you completely, and make time for them. Create your own rituals, a personal Shabbat to unplug, a way to celebrate small wins, or a ritual to transition from work to home. And invest in your community. Join a group, show up for people, and celebrate their joys as if they were your own. Research shows that religious people often report higher well-being, but it's not just about belief in God. It's the regular practice, the community involvement, and the integrated system of meaning that make the difference. Secular people who build similar structures in their lives see similar benefits. Hasidism works psychologically because it provides a complete, sustainable system for human flourishing. In the end, Hasidic Judaism and positive psychology are asking the same fundamental question: how do we live a good life? The answers they provide are strikingly similar. Joy is a practice. Gratitude changes everything. Deep engagement creates meaning. Community sustains us. Adversity can be a source of growth. These aren't 2 different sets of answers. They are the same wisdom, spoken in different languages. Hasidism has the advantage of tradition and centuries of practice. Positive psychology has the advantage of scientific research and universal accessibility. The best path forward is to learn from both. You don't need to become Hasidic to benefit from this wisdom, but you might consider making joy a daily practice, building gratitude into your routine, creating rituals, and finding meaning in ordinary moments. Whether you find God in these practices or simply find a deeper sense of well-being, the techniques work. Ancient wisdom and modern science agree. Happiness isn't something that just happens to you. It's something you cultivate. Thanks for watching, and if you found this valuable, please like, subscribe, and share.